कितने प्रोपेगेंडा फिल्म्स को प्रमोट करती है, फंड करती है?
Well, Pranesh, let me begin my argument because there were gentlemen out here who were pointing out how Rahul Gandhi had backed the Indian stand at the time of Galwan. I have the 4th August 2025, the Honorable Supreme Court's observation, and the Honorable Supreme Court said, if you were a true Indian, you would not have said this when Rahul Gandhi said that Chinese had occupied the Indian territory. So I am talking to individuals in panel who, in the opinion of Supreme Court, also do not believe in nationalism and patriotism and have been called out by Supreme Court. So those who do not believe in nationalism will always think which is unapologetically nationalistic or patriotic, they will call it propaganda. This is why films like Dhurandhar, or to an extent this movie whose trailer has come out, has irked the ecosystem. And I'll tell you why. Because if you recall this picture of Rahul Gandhi when he had secretly met the Chinese ambassador at the time of Doklam conflict, reason still unknown, their heart lies in China. This is why A.K. Antony had said during the time of UPA government कि भाई border पे road नहीं बनानी चाहिए, उससे दुश्मन का फायदा हो जाता है. और Jawaharlal Nehru had given a UNSC seat to China. Can you take an assurance on your show from Ashwani Mishra, whose party did not attack Pakistan after 26/11 attack, that if this film is accepted as it is accepted by the people of the country, that is Dhurandhar, the Congress party's ecosystem will not start calling it propaganda, will not start calling it as, oh, it is so in the face, this is extremely vulgar, this is extremely violent. Why should you not show the bravery of Indian men? The truth of Galwan is simple. Indian men with their bravery ensured that the Chinese troop had to go back and India suffered a huge victory. That's as simple as that. But have you seen Congress party admitting it? No. Ashwani Mishra used a term called mar gaye hamare jawan. जवान मरे नहीं थे. अश्वनी मिश्रा कभी बॉर्डर पे नहीं गए हो. देश को बचाने के लिए शहीद हुए थे और चाइनीज पीएलए को पीछे खड़े रहा था. यह है सच्चाई. That is the truth. So if you ask us that are we funding it? No. But artistic freedom and expression in this country gives every patriotic Indian the right to show patriotic films. As at the time of the Congress party, they used to have movies where they had an Indian spy and a Pakistani spy having a love affair, and that is what the Congress party used to love. So the Congress does not have problem with these movies, but the Congress will have problems with movies which show our security forces in great light. And is it not true that at the time of the Congress party, Ashwani was saying कि भैया कुछ Congress did not attack Pakistan after 26/11. Can Congress party or Ashwani Mishra show us a single surgical strike they did? No, they did not do it.
There are other examples also. तुषार, you would remember. अश्विनी जी, मैं आ रहा हूं. तुषार अभी तक बोले नहीं है. मैं बस एक चीज पॉइंट आउट करना चाहता हूं. आपको याद होगा, अगर नहीं याद होगा तो मैं पढ़ दूंगा. आपके एक सीनियर नेता है अधीर रंजन चौधरी. ये 2020 की बात है, 2020 की. उन्होंने एक ट्वीट कर दिया. उस पे उन्होंने बोला कि चाइनीज बिवेयर, ऐसे ही लिखा था, यही टोन था, नॉट एग्जैक्टली इन सो मेनी वर्ड्स. बोला कि इंडियन सोल्जर्स को पता है तुम्हें सबक कैसे सिखाना है. ये जो उनका आउटबर्स्ट था, जो एक इंडिया फर्स्ट स्टैंड था, इस ट्वीट को उनको डिलीट करवा दिया कांग्रेस पार्टी ने. और आनंद शर्मा ने जब उनसे पूछा गया तो उन्होंने कहा यह तो उनका अपना पर्सनल व्यू है. प्रदीप, इज दैट द ट्वीट दैट यू आर होल्डिंग अप ऑन द फोन? वही दिखा रहे थे क्या आप?
No, I have also another tweet, Pranesh, where the Youth Congress, when it said that they entered our borders and we silently watched, this tweet was not deleted. So the tweet praising China was not deleted, and the tweet which showed that
warning China was deleted. There you go.
Leaders' tweet were deleted. This is the irony and the dichotomy here.
Tushar, there are two things here. One is, whether or not the film is based on Galwan clash. Why is the ecosystem so rattled? I can understand the anxiety of global times. हमारे यहाँ पे जो लोग हैं, so called intellectuals, इनको क्यों घबराहट हो रही है?
Ganesh, I'll explain you the complexity of this issue, because this is a problem that Hollywood has been facing for almost a decade now. And it was the first time an Indian movie is suffering through the same problem. Because it's not just a political issue, it's also a pop culture issue. Let me give you some very interesting examples. People would know the movie called Iron Man 3, Skyfall, Doctor Strange, Top Gun, Maverick. These are some commercial hits from Hollywood. All of them had to tweak certain parts of their narrative to appease the Chinese. In Iron Man 3, for instance, which released back in 2013-14, there was a villain called the Mandarin, and in the comic books, he's a Chinese. But because the Chinese had to be appeased, that villain was turned into an American. And Hollywood has been playing that game for a long while now. And in Hollywood, that is a lobby that operates on behalf of Beijing that ensures that the Chinese narrative supersedes the American narrative. Now, for the first time, we have this problem in India where lobbies in India are standing up and saying that if you're going to show a movie that shows the Chinese in poor light, we are not going to allow it, or we are going to label it as propaganda. One could understand it with Pakistan. But why with the Chinese? Because these lobbies operate all over the world. And now we'll have an example in India as well. This is how the Chinese exert their soft power. Now, the question is, who are these lobbies in India? Are these communities that, sort of politically aligned with Chinese interests, say the communists? Are these parties that have MOUs with the Chinese? We don't know. But if there are lobbies in India that want to ensure that the Chinese narrative supersedes the Indian narrative, even if it's a movie, that is where the problem is, and that is where we must be aware, because Hollywood has fallen. Hollywood has fallen before the Chinese. We can't let the Hindi, Tamil, Telugu movie industry follow the same path. It's that simple.
हाजी रंगरेज, अधीर रंजन चौधरी ने ट्वीट किया